They just ejected Dennis Rodman from his own building. The crowd loses it. He pulls off his jersey, finds a kid in the front row, and in the 9 seconds turns a technical foul into the best night of that kid's life. The Bulls had done this 16 times before. Nobody expected the 17th to be any different. On paper, this was just another game on a long list of games the Timberwolves were supposed to lose. It was supposed to be a pedal-to-the-metal routine for the Chicago Bulls because they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 16 times since the Timberwolves joined the NBA in 1989. But this 17th victory was quite different than the others. Why? Because Dennis Rodman had a bizarre incident in front of 20,000 people at the Target Center. He was deemed to grab a rebound in the third quarter. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. And here's my intro. Chicago's best player wasn't even close to 100%, except their best player could barely move his head. Story of the game was not supposed to go like this. Jordan had a sore neck, was in obvious pain every time he scored his 25 points, passing Alex English for the 8th place in the all-time points list. Michael missed the shoot-around because of his neck, but he wanted to play in the game. He didn't sit on the bench because he experienced more pain while sitting. Before the game even started, Jordan was flat on his back at Target Center. Neck so stiff he couldn't turn it to the right. Trainer Chip Schaefer working on him courtside, and he still played. The man was physically broken before tip-off and still suited up. Scottie Pippen was saving the Bulls in the second half. While Jordan was managing his neck, Pippen was managing the game. The second half belonged to him. And this left-handed slam right here, people never talk about that enough. 17 of his 29 points came during the Bulls' 33-10 run. Young Stephen Marbury and Kevin Garnett learning the lesson the Bulls gave to them. And Dennis Rodman was aiming at the 10,000 rebound mark. It can't go smoothly like that because Dennis is on the court. There he is. The worm is in trouble again. He battled for a rebound but couldn't catch the ball, fell over a photographer while he was stumbling out of bounds. Rodman kicked the photographer for his frustration. It happens about 2 seconds, the rebound, the stumble, the ankle catching the camera on the way down. That is what sets him off. The kick wasn't random. There was a direct chain of events that led to it. Rodman was like, "Where there's a controversy, I'm always in the middle of it," he said after the game. "I don't think I kicked him that hard." The camera was right in front of Rodman and he stepped on it. He said he just wanted to kick the camera, not the guy. While this cameraman or photographer was laying on the floor, he started telling people Rodman hit him in the groin. Then said his neck and back was hurting. Rodman was like, "Here we go." He instantly realized that cameraman was going to sue him. Phil Jackson couldn't see the incident clearly whether the guy was kicked in the knee or thigh. The cameraman suddenly turned into a falsetto. I don't know what happened there. It looked like he kicked the guy in the knee and the guy suddenly went falsetto. I don't know how it happened. It was down by his knee and it ended up in falsetto. Dennis came back and I said, "Dennis, did you do that on purpose?" And he said, he tripped up on the thing and he said, "I kicked him. I kicked him right above the knee." And I said, "Well, that is what I saw too, but I mean, the referee said he was in a lot of pain. And he looked like he was in a lot of pain, and I hate to see that happen on the court." Rodman told the cameraman, "I'm sorry I kicked you." All of a sudden the cameraman responded, "Get away from me." And then he reacted to the kick, clutched his groin, and righted. Here's my problem with this. Rodman kicks him, and for 7 minutes, nothing. The guy is just laying there. Then the moment people start gathering, suddenly he's clutching his groin, then his back, then his neck. In that order. I'm not saying he wasn't hurt, but I am saying that if you or I got kicked by a 250-pound athlete, our reaction wouldn't need a 7-minute warm-up. Watch Dennis in this moment. He's not panicking, he's not apologizing profusely, he's just watching, standing over the guy, reading the room, because Rodman, whatever else you want to say about him, is not stupid. He's spent his entire career being studied, analyzed, picked apart. He knows performance when he sees it. And what is unfolding in front of him on that baseline is a performance. A man calculating his next move while pretending he can't move at all. People walk that off in pickup games every weekend, but this camera guy isn't in a pickup game right now. He's in the middle of the biggest financial opportunity of his life. Johnny Red Kerr from the sports channel Chicago broadcast team immediately said Rodman was clearly upset. You almost see the dollar bills floating around in here. His partner Tom Dort, can someone go over and help this guy get up or something? This is a joke. Dennis recalls the moment. Then all of a sudden, he passed out. I was like, yeah, right. The courtside cameraman Rodman kicked, his name was Eugene Amos. He was taken to an arena hospital on a stretcher after complaining of a groin, back and neck problems. He was listed in stable condition at the hospital. A man who identified himself as a cousin of Eugene Amos tried to sell Amos' story to the media. He declined to say if he would seek recourse in civil court. After being told the media don't pay for the news, he said Amos intends to contact a lawyer about the incident. Amos met the media after giving a statement to the Minneapolis police. Why would he do this? Why? To kick somebody in the groin? I don't know what his motive was. Those years, Dennis Rodman wanted to be a movie star and made a film with Jean-Claude Van Damme. In fact, the cameraman's acting job was worse than Rodman's because Amos was motionless for 7 minutes before being taken out to the hospital. Now the man acts like he is dying. Epic Oscar performance. Most of the media agreed Rodman was wrong to kick Amos, but believed Amos overreacted and that the camera crews were too close to the court. The camera people are right on the baseline. Any athlete would react the same way after rolling an ankle on equipment. Rodman had been skeptical of Amos' injury and his intentions all along. After the game, the Worm made it clear he thought Amos was faking so that he could sue. Rodman knew that cameraman was about to drain his money. I have the money, and he has nothing. There was no immediate word whether Rodman, who headbutted referee Ted Bernhardt a season earlier, would face further punishment. Plenty of words were used to describe this incident. Stupid, unbelievable, weird. Now, before we get into what the NBA actually did to Rodman, I want you to understand the context. This is 1997. The league is at its commercial peak. Jordan is must-see TV every single night. The Bulls are the biggest brand in basketball, and Dennis Rodman, love him or hate him, is a massive part of why people are watching. So the NBA has a real problem here. They need to punish him hard enough to look serious, but they also can't afford to lose him for the season. What they came up with was something they'd never done before, and honestly, haven't done since. NBA Vice President Rod Thorne used the word unprecedented and continued. We are investigating at this time. Our security people will interview the people involved and we will make a decision. This is the first time we've dealt with something like this. We've never really had something happen with a cameraman or photographer. The lawyer, no doubt, would get some of Rodman's money first. Meanwhile, the Converse, the sneaker company that had a deal with Rodman, was happy before the kick because it was an opportunity to sell some shoes. Then the NBA kicked back. Rodman was suspended for at least 11 games. It was the league's office's hardest punishment since the late 70s Kermit Washington scandal. They also fined Rodman $25,000, but this was not the end of the NBA's disciplinary action. They also required Dennis to meet with a therapist of their choosing before deciding when Rodman would play again. In other words, he could miss even more than 11 games if NBA officials ruled he wasn't mentally fit to play. David Stern said, until Dennis can provide meaningful assurances that he will conform his conduct on the playing court to acceptable standards, including not placing others at physical risk, the suspension will continue. Rodman's salary was about $9 million. The losses could top $1 million, the most expensive suspension of his career. His teammate Steve Kerr said it is hard to defend Dennis when he kicked the guy, but the penalty was kind of excessive. The cameraman himself was rather disgraceful. GM Jerry Krause said the guys on the team understand Dennis. When he comes back, he will be a member of the family. A year earlier, Dennis had been involved in a headbutting incident with a referee. You can find that story on my channel. The Bulls were 15-3 in games without him. Jordan said, "We played without Dennis before. We dealt with it. We can't control it." When Rodman came back after his suspension, fans held signs that read, "Be like Rodman, kick some butt." They rushed to their fallen hero's defense no matter what Rodman did, no matter what he said or wore. Chicago fans accepted him unconditionally. Ironically, the cameraman also said he was a lifelong Bulls fan. The thing that gets me about this whole story is that everyone involved got exactly what they wanted. Amos got a settlement, we don't know how much, but you don't hire a lawyer and then quietly disappear unless something changed hands. The NBA got to look serious without actually losing Rodman for the season. Converse got months of name recognition they didn't have to pay for. And Rodman, he came back there, standing ovation, won the championship, and turned the whole thing into another chapter of the legend. The only person who didn't win was the one person who should have. The referee who had to watch all of this happen 3 feet away from him. Nobody even asked that guy. Same season, United Center, Rodman gets the tangle up going after an Anthony Mason shot and stumbles right into a courtside cameraman. Again, the crowd doesn't know whether to laugh or panic, but Dennis already knows before anyone can react. He's got his hand on the guy's shoulder, patting him. "It's okay, it's okay." Like he's defusing a bomb he accidentally built. The building goes absolutely crazy because this time everybody went home. Thanks for watching. I put everything I have into these, the research, the writing, the recording, the editing, all of it solo. If this video was worth of an hour of your time, consider joining Content Fuel, my membership. It keeps the lights on and keeps me making content I am actually proud of. Your support means more than I can say. See you next time.